Good morning and welcome to Times Square today. I'm your host, Zach Viscomi, and joining me is a really special guest, Tony Selimi. Tony is a world-renowned author, speaker, and business coach, and he is joining me to talk more about how you can change your life with just a few simple steps. Tony, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know what you do. We've talked a lot about some of the different things that you're doing to change people's lives. And so tell me and our viewers a little bit more about what exactly that is and how you help people.
Being who we are, with this tremendous intelligence inside of us, we can easily create something amazing for our life and for the people we love and for humanity, or we can destroy it. And the way we tackle that intelligence within us determines who we become. So life adversities can take us into so many directions, and if we don't have some kind of path in which we can stably walk through it, we'll end up going through trial and error and causing a lot of problems in our personal life and people around us. So we're not really truly maximizing who we are. Most people settle for average. Most people settle for what the voice of their fears, of their limitations, of their beliefs, and what the voices of their traumas and experiences tells them of who they are. But in fact, we are extraordinary. We are born to be extraordinary. We are born to be on a path to excellence. So my work is really designed around activating and maximizing human potential in their personal life, in their professional life, spiritually, in their business, and when it comes to also growing their philanthropy vision, because at some point in your life, when you create the success you want, when you create the business you want to leave something behind and you want to teach somebody what you have inside of you so other people can make use of their wisdom.
I'll show to everybody here a path to wisdom, right? And so tell me a little bit more about this first book that you did and really what that was about.
Path to Wisdom was born out of overcoming so many personal challenges, starting from illness at a very young age, being bullied, then fighting in a civil war, and my life was saved from a civil war in former Yugoslavia, living homeless in London, and then working so many jobs to heal many of my traumas, and then educate myself and graduate from one of the top engineering universities in UK, and then climbing the corporate ladder as a senior technologist and managing multi-billion-pound technology transformation programs.
Wow.
Which then led me on a path to wanting to integrate that part of me that went through healing work and understanding psychology, understanding spirituality, understanding emotional intelligence, and how that applies into business, into leadership, and in maximizing human potential. The problems that I saw as the financial crisis of 2008 pretty much went all over the world and impacted everybody's lives, I saw how people not at peace with themselves. So therefore, people wanting to have this work-life balance and taking back control of their own lives.
Yeah.
So I wanted to merge my knowledge and experience and expertise into creating a methodology so people can follow to listen those inner alarms and outer alarms where we're not aligned with what we are meant to do here in this world.
You talk about the financial crisis in 2008 and obviously, more recently with the pandemic, the global pandemic, and how that really changed the perspective of life for a lot of people and sort of that work-life balance and what they wanted to do and the impact that they wanted to make in the world. I've got two of your books right here that I'm showing to our viewers, A Path to Excellence and The Unfakeable Code, where you wrote both of these books in a year. In these pages, I know that there's a lot of information about sort of where you got to today, your mission, your vision, and where you're going for the future. So can you tell us a little bit more about the wisdom that's in here?
As the COVID pandemic started to close borders globally, and as my VIP training that I was teaching, my vital planning into beautiful locations around the world, suddenly it stopped. The flights were canceled, business were going into chaos, the governments were going into chaos. Nobody knew how to respond to such a cataclysmic event. But my background in technology and my background in always having disaster recovery plans, I made sure when I started my business as an entrepreneur to have the backup plans, what will happen if something happens. So therefore, the first thing I did, I implemented those strategies and disaster recovery plans in my own business, and then I informed all of my clients business as usual and support them through the uncertainty and navigating change both within business, within their personal lives, because now suddenly people are stuck with their families and spending all this time and causing a lot of arguments and everything that they didn't have before. So they had to manage so much more than before, and the pressures were high. So I sat down and I made a list of all the problems starting from a global level then at every country, then locally, then in business, then in leadership, then in family. And out of that, the things that came up is the book Path to Excellence and the Unfakeable Code. And the Unfakeable Code is the fact that most people felt disempowered and not being able to tackle the changes that were brought to us through COVID. So basically, how do I help people to become authentic leaders? Because we saw how leadership can cause a lot of problems globally. In every country, we've seen bad leaders and good leaders, but most of them wear masks. And when those masks show off and you make decisions and choices that affect the entire country, affect businesses, affect your family, it is wise for you to go through the process of understanding who you are in your true essence and how to make informed choices, great decisions, so you can make a bigger impact in the world. How do you take back control, lead authentically, live freely on your terms? That's the Unfakeable Code. And as part of that, after I finished that, a lot of the ideas out of that, I started putting them in the new document. And I wanted to understand what makes somebody go on a personal path to excellence, personal path into being a leader with excellence, and how business excellence can drive you into becoming all you can be as a human being.
I mean, it's phenomenal, right? Your story of having nothing, right? I mean, literally starting being homeless in the UK, going to university, building what you've built, to now bringing that unique perspective to everybody. And it's not just for people who are now homeless, but for top excelling experts who are at the top of their game. That's really where you've been able to work and really make an impact in the lives of so many different people.
Yes, I mean, being at the top of your game also comes with a lot of pressures on your time, on your energy, and also on your money, finances. But at the same time, it can impact your relationship. And most of the clients that I work with is that inner game that as you become more successful, it becomes even more complicated for you to master. People, to relieve the pressures of their daily life, go into addictions, go into, let's say, shopping addictions, they become depressed, and they develop all those mental, emotionally induced illnesses. And most people end up taking drugs. Yeah. Well, my work, the methodologies are designed to clear all of those emotional blockages inside so you can perform at your best. And equally being able to be better innovator in your business, improve the processes in the business, and create a strategy and a detailed plan for you to achieve your wildest dreams.
Obviously, you've been doing this for a lot of people, and you were talking a little bit earlier about a client that you were working with in particular. So can you tell our viewers a little bit more of that story?
Yeah, sure. One of my clients, he owns multiple businesses around the world. So our path crossed through another client that was referred to me. And with the other client, he's a doctor. I helped him publish his book and are on a mission to literally transform the healthcare globally. So he introduced me to this client. We had a first consultation and it was about stress. But deep down, I knew that was so much more than stress, because stress doesn't come to us unless there's other things going on in our life. So in the first few sessions with him, trying to understand all the cause and effects that were causing him to be extremely stressful to the point that he couldn't function at home in his bedroom, but also in the boardroom.
Wow.
So therefore, as we started clarifying, as we started going into understanding what his authentic values are, and what is it why he does what he does, and creating a vision beyond oneself. And as we started planning that and clearing the pathway and doing a detailed plan of how he tackled, he became more grounded. He became more certain, he became more confident, he became more wise in the way to make choices and decisions that affect the teams, affects the boardroom, affect the profits, the productivity, but also brought this work within his team members. And then he started doing my vital planning training, he brought his entire family introduced to this kind of work.
Wow.
So when you do that kind of work for you to transform yourself and you empower others to transform themselves, that's where you truly activate leadership.
That's incredible. And I know that there's so many different ways in which you've helped people. These are just a handful of books and you've got a ton more. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you or to get some of your books or to read more or to find out more, what would be the best way for them to contact you?
In today's world, the best way we go and Google Tony J. Selimi. In there you'll find a lot of information. But people can go to my website, tonyselimi.com. They can find all the links. They can also download free resources and they can look through different services and programs that I do that are specifically catered for you as an individual, as a business, or as an entrepreneur, or as a family. Because human behavior, emotional intelligence, and going on a personal development and self-awareness, self-growth process applies to all of us.
Yeah.
Because at any point in our life, we come to personal blocks or professional blocks, and we want a pathway for us to get out of it. So they can find all that information in there. They can go to Amazon, grab all of my books, start reading them. Why? Because each book will give you something that unlocks in you, and most importantly, for you to understand that sophisticated alarm inside of you, that when you do something wrong in your life, you know you are wrong, and therefore you put yourself back into the path.
That's great, Tony. Well, thank you so much. And I ask everybody this question because I have the luxury of interviewing people like you, who a global traveler, someone who's spoken on stages all over the world. What is your advice to our viewers today and what they could do to really thrive in today's economy?
You are a miracle of life. Everything you see about life, it's a byproduct of your consciousness. And when you tap into that God-given intelligence, you can create the most wonderful life for you, for the people you love, and then be of service to humanity. So together we can exemplify high human potential.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate not only you coming on the show, but just the impact that you've been able to have in the lives of people all over the world. It's just really great what you've done, what you've built for yourself, and what you've helped other people build for themselves. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well for your service and for being here in Times Square, sharing some insights so more people around the world can benefit.
Absolutely. And thank all of you for joining us in Times Square today.